Hi Scorpio, here's a general look at your solar chart for September 2011. It looks quite a forward-moving phase for you, a kind of progressive phase. Friendships are going to be highlighted, but also group affinities and involvements are going to be highlighted as well, I think, for some of you. And you could also get the chance to do something that's been in the back of your mind or you've been just waiting to do for a very long time. So that's good news. The governing factor this month, in fact, is, not what you know so much as who you know, especially up until the 18th, and how well you and they can cooperate together for some kind of common aim. So overall, you're into this very sociable and generally friendly vibration where business-type collaborations, maybe in a social kind of get-together sort of context, feels quite friendly. Also teamwork of various kinds, whether that's in your personal life or your professional life. All of these are going to be emphasized. But also there's this forward movement here, this feeling as though you'll be able to start getting busy with whatever it is you wanted to be getting busy with. So maybe it's just in the theoretical stage, or maybe it's not. Also, it's the time when the collective mind is amplified. So those of you that are into meditation or healing groups or circles or anything like that, this is going to be a very good time for you to really gather with others in that sort of a way, and with the many minds in unison bring about change for good, I guess I could say, because actually where the sun is just now and where it is at this time every single year, Scorpio, is in an area to do with social change, social reform, raising awareness on certain issues, maybe, and it's humanitarian and it's altruistic as well. So for those of you who are interested in that aspect of where the sun is at the moment, there it is for you. And now just to get back to the kind of middle way here, so all of this collective mind energy is going to be amplified, and it's likely to be sometimes unexpected or unusual influences around. Again, that's the nature of where the sun is at the moment. Until the 14th, friends, new friends, old friends, acquaintances are likely to be interesting and may open the way up to new experiences for you, or you may open the way up to new experiences for them. Whether that's in the personal, professional sphere, and some of this may be quite lucrative for you as well. There could be a sort of a money angle to all of this. And then from mid-month, when Venus moves, you're more inclined to keep your feelings to yourself, keep your counsel in certain situations with certain people. It's not necessarily negative or bad. It's just that you draw inwards a little bit with your feelings. You protect your feelings a little bit more from there onwards. You keep quiet. You're just holding your cards close to your chest. You and someone could be working, again, like I say, for this common cause, common aim, you and others, and putting maybe time for yourselves on the back burner, or just grabbing a moment here or there. That might be the way it's panning out. Because you need to make yourselves available for something that you consider to be more important, or for some overarching kind of project. A love relationship or a friendship, however, could be blossoming very nicely in a low-key way, behind the scenes, or just in your own heart, or physically in a retreat type or sanctuary type space, or Maybe that's not inside, maybe it's outside, in special sacred places in nature, or ones that you feel are that way too, because you can drink deep of this nurturing beauty at the moment from nature, or from going to those places, touching base with those places which are, sacred to you. Now, there's a lot of mental energy this month, but that's actually working in a very behind-the-scenes way. By that I mean it's kind of subconscious, so you'll be getting instruction and ideas from dreams, maybe, or daydreams as well, or meditation, or just listening to that famous gut of yours, Scorpio, and really listen to it, because it's working well for you, and it might mean that things aren't altogether clear, logically, rationally, but you get the sense, and from the 25th, then you'll start to get the clarity coming in. So it's best to trust that there is support coming, maybe from unseen realms and unseen hands, and all you've got to do is hold that faith, hold that intention, hold that vision, however you want to see it, and be steady with that faith, that vision, that intention, the dream of how you'd like it to be, and follow that tuggy string, which might not make mind sense, but on the grander scale of things, makes absolute sense. Now, before the 18th, Mars has you putting lots of physical energy into quite adventurous projects or expeditions or explorations, or maybe they're just not physical. Maybe it's more you want to be the student, you want to learn, you want to lecture, you want to share your knowledge, but it feels quite physically active for some reason. So maybe this is manifesting for some of you as more travel, and having to be very busy with that, connecting with foreign cultures, or those at a distance, personally, physically, or maybe it's just over the wires, and you're just kind of on a bit of there's a lot of demand on you for that. Or you're just connecting with people in faraway places. This position of Mars can also translate as you getting into higher education, even having a brush with, the law or legal matters. It might be on a very, very minor, knowing what your rights are on something, or, when your road tax expires or something like that, to something a little bit more. And generally communications over a wider area, so that can be physical or mental. But on another level, this position of Mars, which is about mental and physical expansion for you, Scorpio, and it's been actually in there over August as well. This position of Mars can open your eyes to higher laws, higher education, higher teachings, even a different reality, a different perspective. Definitely helps you to get the eagle eye view, really. So suffice it to say that Mars here can help you see the bigger picture, and that you're just not going to be so caught up in knotty details. However, I have to say, with Mars here up until the 18th, you mustn't overlook important details, especially when signing things, or just don't trip over your own shoelaces, physically or mentally. Now then, Mars moves on the 18th, goes into a public sector, has you putting physical effort then into your place in the world, or something that, a place that you are trying to reach in the world. Basically, it's about your ambitions, your goals, your presentation, your image. So you'll be more aware of these things. very much wanting to come up to certain standards, feeling quite a demand on you, though, to be responsible about that. Being more aware of maybe bureaucracy, authority figures, anybody you wish to impress favourably. You're going to be putting a lot of gusto and sort of energy into either a job or a project or a goal, or into acquiring one, finding the right one, fishing for one. And definitely being decisive and energetic in this area. Probably a lot more will come to focus after Mercury leaves this background area, which is on the 25th. However, from the 18th, you'll really be going with that. Or you can be going with that and tap into that adrenaline energy, and Mars in that very professional, outward, image orientated, professional, I said that, area of your chart. So if it's about red tape, bureaucracy, authority figures, there's a tendency Mars can be quite contentious. Mars can be quite tense. So you might be crossing swords or clashing with somebody in so-called position of power, whether that's actual or perceived by you power. That's for you to judge. So anyway, just keep your cool. Actually, if you do keep your cool, you're likely to make a lot more progress with the master plan. Be measured, but of course there is something called righteous anger as well. So that's all, again, for you to weigh for yourself. And you'll be getting on with these goals and ambitions, whether they're little ones or big ones, from the 18th onwards. And as I say, it's about professional standards and how you come across in that arena of your life. Some of you may have had more robust interaction with a parent or a guardian figure as well. Some of you may have at that time there. And also another way it can work, or integrating in with the rest of the way, is that you're just looked up to, as the authority or the one in charge. So in order to be a good leader, and you could be looked up to as a leader actually, during this phase, you have to know how to serve, because being a leader isn't about throwing your power around. That's what I think anyway. Now, every month I talk about the slower moving outer planets from Jupiter to Pluto. You can actually read this material on my website, because I update it, change it slightly every month. But also I speak about it here as well, and as the moment takes me, I add or subtract or whatever. But here we go. Jupiter is in a very important place for you. It's in your opposite sign, and that means that you're into this quite long cycle until next June of personal expansion through your relationships, whether those are business type relationships or in your private life type relationships. So if there isn't anything much going on there, then this bodes very well for you, Scorpio, over this next, it's around about 10 months. And cast your nets wide, really, because you're likely that fish, that you really want. And that one, you can sort of test whether it's the right one, because that one will bring you, you have to learn. But you bring them a lot that they have to learn, so they're likely to be from a different level of understanding or background or culture to your own, as travel can come into this, somebody at a distance can come into this, or and you are from a very different sort of place for them, and they are as intrigued with you as you are intrigued with them, and what they contribute to you, you return from your own standpoint, losing none of your uniqueness to them, and it's appreciated. and you appreciate them, so you know when you get that fish, because that's the way it's panning out. So you just have to throw the little tiddlers back. But with Jupiter here, and it only comes round there once every 12 years, you're likely to find that one. So it can be quite an eye-opening time for you. Some of you could be seen as the teacher. So some of you could be getting into teaching during this long Jupiter transit through that area there. And even when it moves next June, it's still kind of got that sort of vibe with it, although there are differences, which I'll speak about at the time. So others could be looking upon you for your knowledge and your guidance, your experience, and it gives them a very different slant on things because you've got a very different slant on things. Overall, Jupiter is going to provide you more opportunity for expansion in your personal life or your professional life through one-to-one relationships, unfamiliar social environments as well. So, as I say, if you're hunting for that right business partner or teacher, advisor or mate or whatever it is for you, cast those nets wide, because this is the time over these months that you can actually, and you know what, Jupiter's about abundance, so it may bring you someone who is disguised as that person. And don't think that that will be the only chance if you don't feel in your gut that it's quite right. So, free yourself from that so that you can be receiving. And this is why I was saying about holding that vision, holding that faith, holding that intention clear, clear, clear to pull whoever it is to you. Just don't expand too far, too fast, and then keep at least 1 foot on the ground. So if they're all in a hurry, you just want to go where, at your own pace. Now, Saturn, of course, you may know, is in this background area, helping you until late 2012 to square up to a few home truths, to realize that you shoot yourself in the foot at critical moments because of old, emotional, knee-jerk responses, and you better clean up your act. And if you do, it's going to pay you back 100-fold in the long run. Uranus is going to be transiting your sector of daily work conditions and health for many, many years. And so this is a very unusual, alternative, complementary vibration, which means that you will be learning about and adopting new approaches to health, but also using different skills, learning new skills. This is all about fresh, new change. And you could be providing a very different kind of service to others. Also, Uranus is about connecting with groups for your work as well. And you Scorpios born October 24th, 27th, or those with the first 4 degrees of Scorpio rising, are going to feel that vibration of Uranus mostly this month. Neptune has reversed into the late Aquarius and will stay there until February 2012. This could renew uncertainty within you emotionally about a relationship or a family member or family members, or about where on the map you really belong, who you really belong with. Make sure, though, during this short period that Neptune's gone back in there for you late Scorpios, that you draw, and early Scorpios, that you draw a firm line about your private space, and don't let others tread on that boundary. Scorpios born 20th to the 23rd of November, or with the last 2 to 3 degrees of Scorpio rising, or early Scorpios born around the 24th of October, or with 1 degree of Scorpio rising, will feel this influence mostly this month. Now, for many years, your ruling planet, Pluto, continues to evolve you through education, communications, including language, travel, media, various kinds. Also, you adding another skill to your bow academically, and being also the one who is broadcasting that knowledge, teaching that knowledge, using that knowledge to enlighten, we hope, and guide others. But Pluto is power. So you've got power in the area of communications and education all of this time. And also, of course, that more ancient form of communication, which is telepathy, intuitive gut knowing, that is all going to be very much evolved during this time as well, and triggered. And you Scorpios born 25th to the 26th, 25th, 26th to the 30th of October, with 2 to 6 degrees of Scorpio rising, going to feel this influence mostly this month. And from the 22nd, you could be pulling strings from behind the scenes, or just keeping an eye on things in a supportive role, but still being very, very busy out there with a demand on you from the big bad old world as well. And that's it for September. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to that to add to or subtract from what I've said here. It's up to you to judge, where the differences are. And I'll see you the next time.